Hey, folks. Welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast live stream. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
And I'm William.
And we're here post-game. Now, we just finished playing a game of Battle Lore. I'm sorry, Battle Lore. Command and Colors.
There you go. Yeah.
We played a game of Command and Colors,
That's the one.
Samurai Battles.
Samurai Battles.
No, that's where we're at. We just finished playing a game of that. I've got our cameras set up. Looks like we are live on the stream. If you guys have any issues with audio or anything, please do like you normally do. Just let us know. That's always helpful.
Yep. Don't need to repeat it last week.
Yep. Today's topic du jour is Command and Colors.
Yeah.
But as Rob and I always tell you, you can
Talk about whatever. Yeah, whatever you want to talk about, we're open to talking about. So whether you've been playing something, whether you want to educate us on something, some new news you've heard, something going on in your local community, we'd love to hear about all of it. And certainly call us from anywhere, everywhere. We were just talking, we're going to make a pegboard with all the places people are calling us from, see if we can check off all the states. So that would be really cool. And then international. Hey, let's do a little international. I think we had somebody in the chat a couple weeks ago from England.
Yeah, from the UK.
The UK, yeah, sweet.
Wow, they're still up.
So yeah, we're gonna hit them all.
I'm going to tell the app here to turn on the phones.
Cool.
And we will put the phone number on the board. Phone number's on the board. Phone number is 813-618-7099.
Put it on the board.
The phone is on, and we are up. So
Cool.
what we'll do is while we wait for you folks to call in and talk to us about your gaming, we'll talk a little bit about our game now of Command and Colors Samurai Battles.
Yep.
I think William and I were the ones that were super excited about this one because William and I both ended up purchasing this one on the P500
Yes.
from GMT Games. So GMT, unlike like a Kickstarter or anything like that, or pre-order system, they've always had their own like Kickstarter-like system called P500.
P500, yep.
Used to the P500, it's a place where you tell them that you want to participate in the publishing of a game. They collect those, I guess, orders or interest right?
Emails,
that interest in that item until it hits 500. When it hits 500, then they begin the production of that game. Oh, we got a call coming in.
Oh,
That was quick. Let's take a look. Beans and Ice Podcast. State your name. Where you calling from?
This is Mitchell from Louisiana. How you doing?
Hey, Mitchell.
Hey, Mitchell.
Howard, I was just thinking about you because one of my topics is the book that we've been reading together. Well, not together.
Right,
Together.
Right, very
yeah.
cool.
Not together.
Yeah,
Not like
yeah.
that.
A little remote, yeah, but together remote. Yeah.
What's going on in your world, Mitchell?
Not too much. I missed you guys last week. I apologize. I told you I'd call in, but we usually play games on the weekend. But with it being Good Friday and us being off on Friday, we had our board game night on Thursday.
Nothing wrong
And
with
actually, I want to call you for my board game night and have all the guys chat it up. But I don't remember what game we were in the middle of. But we lost track of time. So
that. No problem. Yeah, we need to do that
That's what it's
sometime.
all
though.
about.
Yeah, do that. That'd be fun.
Usually when you lose track
Yeah,
of time,
that would
it's a
be.
good night.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, some of those nights we look at the clock, and it's 1 or 2 in the morning. It's like, oh my gosh.
Right.
That's why we don't play on work nights.
That happens. Yep.
Yeah, no, I figured I'd call in this week and ask, and you guys may have talked about it, I may have missed it. There's so much hype right now about Everdell with, the huge Kickstarter going on right now. I was wondering what you guys' 2 cents of Everdell is. I see it in the background there. I thought I saw it.
Yeah, you did.
You guys
did.
fans of it?
That you did.
Carlos has not played it yet, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Where's it at?
Robert's right. I've not played it.
Up on the shelf up there, yeah.
It's a game that here's my thoughts on it. I like engine building and I like cute furry things. I never had an opportunity to play it, but I did make it to the shop one night. Actually, it was the cafe. So Robert was at the cafe playing it with some friends. So I got to watch him take his last round of actions on it
that's right,
before
yeah.
we played Brass Birmingham.
I remember that, yep.
And it interested me. And the moment I saw that Kickstarter go up with that beautiful deal, I told myself, you're not buying it, number one. Number two, everyone's going to sell their copy because of all that anger and angst that came along with that Kickstarter. Because that Kickstarter also had, William, the Kickstarter they did for the new version, William's here with us today, included everything that was created, right?
Yep.
All the expansions, all the core box, and the new expansion, right, for like dirt cheap. Like there's no reason.
Yeah, it's $200.
even that old.
Yeah.
Right, it's not. But the key to it was if you want the new expansion, you have to buy the big bundle.
Oh, that's got corporate.
Right.
That's got corporate written all
Right.
over
Little
it.
corporate
But what it
greed.
told me was anyone who currently owns the game is going to want to part with their current copy.
Sure.
Because if they want the expansion, they got to rebuy everything. Right. So that's when I put the
Right,
feelers
right.
out on our game group and say, hey, does anybody know anyone trying to get rid of a copy of Everdale? And our buddy Lonnie, his son-in-law, ended up selling me his copy for $40. It was $35. I think it was 35
Oh,
bucks.
nice deal.
But I still haven't played it yet, Mitchell. I still haven't played it yet.
And have you played it, Will?
So you said Robert
No, I
played it
haven't
though.
I've been out of the loop for a bit. I got so much going on in personal life. So, but I don't. This man, it's been a long time. I've been doing anything with the show for a while.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely chime in. As you were saying there, Mitchell, I've definitely played it. I've only played it once, so I say definitely played it, but I played it one time. I played it over at Your Turn Cafe here, a board game cafe in the Tampa area, and the owner, Dan, taught me to play it. And number one, as you probably already know, if you've looked into the game much, the production value on the game is just incredible. The artwork.
Right, that's what. Yeah.
Oh yeah, our artwork's outstanding. All the little bits that come with it are incredible. There's I'm kind of scrolling through BGG here as we talk, and there's some pictures of it. I'm going to see if I can find a picture of some of the bits. There's some stuff here of people painting.
Talking about like the squishy berries.
That's what I was going to say. There's little gems that it's I want to say sap, but it's not called sap in the game.
Amber?
There you go.
Resin.
Resin. That's right. You got it. Resin. So there's little resin pieces that are kind of hard, but kind of translucent. I'm looking at it now. There's the stones, which look like little pebbles. They're actually little finely shaved and shaped little stones. There's little berries in the game that are actually, I believe they're rubber. They're squishy little berries. Everybody calls them the squishies. The little wood that you collect, it looks like little branches. It's actually chiseled out and actually it's molded like little pieces of wood with bark on it. Of course, the tree that everybody talks about.
I don't know about this tree, Mitchell. I don't.
Yeah, that's
It looks like a big obstruction. What do you think?
Yeah, so actually, I was going in to say that I don't buy into the hype. I'm actually not a huge fan of Everdell, and I have a few reasons why.
Okay, and I'm going to agree with you, but go ahead. I want to hear your reasons first.
Boy,
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hit
Okay,
us.
so first of all, yes, the component quality is great. I think that's what catches everybody's eye at first. I love the box. Game box is beautiful.
Yep.
The tree, it's an eye catcher. Those nice little resources. But, okay, so first of all, about the berries. They do not stay in the same place. They bounce, they roll.
They roll around.
Unless you have a resource, unless you have a resource tray, it's impossible. But the way the game is set up is that there's art on the board where the different resources go.
Yep.
And so I haven't really put a resource tray there because then it blocks some of the other actions around it.
Yep.
And I think they have some specially made ones that are coming with the new expansion that might fit the board.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that. Okay, second, the tree looks great, but whenever I play, I like to have my space, especially in a game like this. You're making a tableau. You can have 15 cards.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be crammed together. So really, it eliminates one of the four sides of the table.
Right. Yeah,
Which I do not like.
Exactly that. It's completely impractical if you're playing with more than two or maybe three. It's just it's in the way constantly. So we played with the tree when I played, but we were constantly looking around it, reaching around it. So I agree 100%.
Yep. Everybody gets a ding on that one. That's correct.
Yeah. So not only the tree, it blocks the view, but also there are special events on the trees. It's little bitty, I don't know the exact size of the cards, but they're up on top of the tree, probably even with your eye level, and it's little bitty cards, so you have to stand up all the time and constantly be looking at it.
Yep.
So that's just component-wise, the things that I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah, but the font on
in
its
terms of
own is a
gameplay-
separate conversation because the font is tiny by itself to begin with.
So you're saying it's not
Yeah, there's even
friendly for people who got by.
There's
outside.
the font is tiny and the card is tiny, and then there are certain cards that have an action space on it that you can put a meeple on, but certain ones have in the tiniest font you've ever seen the word open. And if it says open, that means anybody can place their meeple there, even if it's not their card.
Right.
But unless I'm peering over their shoulder or they're announcing it, I have no idea if they have that little bitty open sign on their card. And again, I think in one of the expansions they fixed this by having these little cardboard cut up that stand up and make an open sign. But again, it's not in the base game.
Right.
So I actually have never played any of the expansions because the base game didn't really do it for me. It's your basic worker placement, but it's got a couple of unique things. But it's all unique things that I feel like I've seen in other games before. Like it has your passing into new seasons, which is kind of like viticulture, and it has this idea that some people finish the game sooner if they do their actions sooner, kind of like Tapestry.
Yes.
Which is unique, but I feel like it's been implemented better in other games. So I don't know if maybe the expansions add to it and make it a little bit more enjoyable. But for me, it was just a little bit plain, and I don't want to have to buy an expansion to make a game playable for me, you know?
And I think I've heard that. I think the expansions are what make the game special, but I'm not in an expansion mode this last year.
Yeah.
So I don't want to play games that require expansions or with expansions. So I have to play it. Robert's got to teach me so that I can see if I feel about the gameplay the way that you feel, Mitchell.
Yeah, and I'll definitely agree with you, Mitchell. Just chiming in, I think I agree with pretty much everything you said there. I mean, it's when I played it, I played it with no expansions. We were just learning. I was learning the base game. Dan had played it several times, and I know over at the shop he's got, I believe, all 4 or 5 of the expansions that they have out now. And I haven't played with any of those at all, so I don't know what they do to the game. I mean, the game is extremely cute. The art, again, is eye-catching. That tree on the table is eye-catching. The little bits are eye-catching. I mean, it brings people over. People talk about it. People ask about it. But as far as playing the game, I think I would agree with you. I was pretty indifferent. I was like, oh, okay, well, this is a worker placement game. It really didn't do anything special. Again, looks gorgeous, but I'll agree. It definitely wasn't a game that I got done and I said, oh, let's play that again. It was kind of like, okay, well, that was a game, and I'll probably play it again at some point. But yeah, and again, I certainly may need to try the expansion, so we'll see. I'm sure I'll play it again. But.
Well, especially when the game was going on the secondary market for like hundreds of dollars, right? It's not worth it.
Yeah. Well, and some people love it to death. I talked to some friends last weekend, and they really, really enjoyed it. I mean, obviously, if they have all these expansions, people have to be buying them. But the thing that's interesting, I saw with the expansions, is kind of like they fit almost like a puzzle piece onto the board. So it's clear, in my opinion, that these things were all planned out from the beginning. So
Sure.
I almost feel like this is a video game where, you buy the base game and you really just need the DLC to complete it. They're just charging you more for the other piece of the game.
Sure.
Nope, don't like it.
Yeah, and then as Will kind of said here, that he said the game hasn't even been out that long. I mean, let me jump back to BGG and we'll get the exact date while I'm talking here, but it hasn't been out that long. I mean, it feels like it was just out maybe a year and a half ago, maybe, and they're already, as you said,
they've already 2018.
2018. Okay, so you're right. So it has been. It's probably 2.5, 3 years now. So it's
How are the folks going to feel though when after the Kickstarter they begin selling that new expansion by itself?
Yeah.
Right. So you got people who are selling their stuff in order to buy the big,
full
all-in Kickstarter,
yeah.
and get the new expansion. To then later they end up selling the expansion separately. They haven't said they are, but I can't imagine why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course they're gonna.
I don't know. That's going to bring bad feelings, and that's the part about Kickstarter why I try to stay away from it. I feel like it engenders a lot of bad feelings to people that end up supporting games. For example, right behind William, there's a copy of Marvel United, which I've been playing for months because I got my copy at Walmart while my buddy who did the all-in Kickstarter just got his last week.
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
I remember that.
Yeah, William, I played that before
Yeah,
Christmas.
I was like,
that was before Christmas we were playing that.
Like, this is out? He's like, yes. I'm like,
Walmart.
like, I would be pretty upset,
Yeah.
especially if I spent all that money.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know, as usual, I'm off topic. I don't know anything about the game you guys are
No, that's
playing.
fine.
Let me.
You said
I don't want to interrupt. I will interrupt you. I'm going to interrupt you because some folks have mentioned that in the boards. Like, hey, let me know what the topic is so I can find out what you're talking about and I can be prepared for it. I want everyone to know that our topic is just our starting point for us, and I expect people to call in off topic. I want you to call in off topic,
Yeah.
because you may not have ever played a Command and Colors game, but I still want to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
So the Command and Colors things that we're talking about today is going to keep us on topic while we're in between calls.
Yeah, it'll give us something to fill some time is really the main thing. So.
But you're the show. You, Mitchell, the caller, are the show. We're just
Absolutely.
here to fill airtime until you call.
Yep.
I got you. That makes sense.
Yep.
Well, you said one of the things you wanted to talk about tonight was mention something about Red Rising. What was that you wanted to bring up?
Yep, I wanted to update the folks, including you. Was hoping you call. So I finished the first book. I read the excerpt that they give you for the second book. I'm not certain if I'm going to jump into that next book yet.
Must not have been that good.
It was good though.
Oh, the excerpt.
Oh, the excerpt was good.
Oh, was
like
it?
it left you on a
Okay,
cliffhanger,
all right.
like a really strong cliffhanger.
Okay.
Like, but it's 5-book series, and it's like, man, I have to commit because I know once I start one, I'm gonna have to finish them all. So I paused because I'm currently reading a Civil War book. I've got there's another game behind William. The American Civil War
Yeah.
by Worthington Games. There you go. Thank you, William, for moving. Worthington Publishing. And I wanted to read a book about the Civil War to kind of juice up those feelings. But all that to say, Red Rising, first book, amazing, hooked me in. I did the Jamie Stegmaier on his website. Mitchell put me on this one, has a personality test.
Oh, yeah?
Because in the book, they end up joining these different houses. It sounds like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
They end up joining these different houses that reflect different personality traits. Like they draft you into them. So I ended up being drafted into, get this, into House Ceres. If I'm saying that right, English is not my first language, although I think that's Latin. House Ceres, which is the house, their symbol is a sickle with wheat. Right, that's their symbol.
Yeah.
They're the house of bread, so they make bread.
Okay.
So my fat diabetic self,
The bread makers.
but I tend to drink my bread,
Yeah, a little liquid bread, yeah.
liquid bread.
Oh man.
I got drafted into House Series on that personality test.
Let me ask, and I
Nice.
don't know if anybody knows the answer to this, but I'm assuming the game is very, very loosely based on the books. I mean, I'm sure it's just kind of the general idea that he's using the game. Do we know if the game is based off of just one, maybe the first book, or does it cover the series? Any clue?
Well, so initially it was a trilogy, and then later on he decided to add a second trilogy, which he's in the midst of. So the game is based on the first trilogy, the first 3 books.
Okay.
But there's no, other than the names of characters, there should be no spoilers in the game. I'm still anxiously awaiting my champion order, which should go out this week. I know people all around the world have the game. America's behind the curve for one.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen in the Facebook group for it, it's mostly just character names, so it wouldn't really mess you up if you didn't read the first 3 books before it.
Cool.
I guess it's kind of like when you and I played Dune. I've never saw the movie, never read the books, but I got a gist of the theme and the feel of the politics behind Dune just by playing the game.
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing the Red Rising game because the artwork, I'm hoping it helps put faces to what's in my head
you're reading,
of what I'm reading. Because unlike other IPs where there are books and comic books or movies to it, Red Rising has none. So I've got no frame of reference for how a character looks in the novel.
Well, actually, Red Rising does have, I think there's 2 comic books out right now that serve as prequels. But I'm assuming, I haven't read them yet, I'm assuming most of the characters in there are not characters in the main series, but there are the graphic novels.
Man, my boy Mitchell, man, he's in
got
on
it
the
down.
Red
He's been
Rising.
looking into it.
Did you pre-order it?
The game, yeah, I pre-ordered it. And
Are you a champion?
The champion order
what
is
he said,
supposed to be
the
going
champion
out.
order,
Yeah.
Yeah, Jamie sent an email saying they're going out like this week. All right, Rob, we're taking a road trip to Louisiana.
Yeah.
We're going to go
meet
come
with
on
Mitchell
down,
and give
man.
that one a
We'll
shot. Yeah.
or if you're in Tampa for, our beautiful beaches and Busch Gardens, let us know.
Yeah.
We'll have you over at the Studio Bean here.
Get a game in.
There you go. Maybe sometime. I'd love it. Yeah.
Sweet.
So that's
Well,
my
anyway, I'll let
update
you
for
guys
Red
go.
Rising.
Thanks. Sounds good. Thanks for chatting with me, and hopefully I'll get that game soon, and then I can report back to you guys on it.
And let's plan for that, right? Shoot me in the IM, the DMs. I don't even know. I'm talking like the kids now.
On the page.
Shoot me a message once you get a couple games under your belt and you're ready to have a good conversation on it, man. I'll give you a 15-minute slot to give your thoughts, the playthrough, how it went. It's all yours, man. You just reach out and let me know.
Sure.
I mean, if I could do a show
good.
and have
I love
other
that.
people do the work, right?
Let other people do it. Yeah. Carry the show.
Oh, boy.
Thanks, Mitchell, man.
There you
Take
go.
care.
Appreciate you calling. Keep calling.
All right.
Bye.
Sure thing. We'll do. Have a good night.
All right, that was Mitchell from Louisiana. Red Rising. He's the one that got me into some of the updates on the Red Rising. That opens up our phone line again. Put the phone number back up, 813-618-7099. This is Carlos, Rob, and Will. We just finished a game of Battle Lore. But I did mention, because Mitchell got me on the novel.
Samurai Battles. Yeah, no more not Battle Lore, but another game.
Samurai Battles,
That's another
folks.
game in the series, so it's similar. I can see the mistake. But
It's Command and Colors.
Command Colors, but Samurai Battles.
Yeah, thanks, Will.
Yeah.
I got Will to keep me in
I
check.
got to do that with you.
Will or William?
William.
William.
I let it slide because you know what? You can't even remember something you said 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
William.
Yes, he's right. All right, so I talked about reading, right? So I read through the Red Rising. I'm also reading a book by James McPherson. It's called I believe it's called Battle Cry. It has to do with the American Civil War, right? And the reason I bring this up, Rob, it starts off like the big preamble I'm in now starts off with getting you from like 1800s to 1860s, right before the Civil War begins, giving you all the lead up to it. The preamble of like how the United States got to where it was and why the situation had heated up into a civil war. But the big part of it, there's a whole like a chapter on this part, Robert, from 1815 to 1850, the boom in delivery of merchandise. Right. So how in 1815, the cost to move product by ton per mile or something was like huge from like Chicago to New York. And it would take like 5 weeks because you'd have to ship it down the Ohio River, right? Down out around Florida, up the Gulf.
Makes sense.
Out the Gulf, up the Atlantic, and get it to New York. You know, it took weeks, 5 weeks. But between 1815 and 1850, the canal boom, the railroad boom, made it so that it went from like dollars by ton to like pennies by ton to move freight. Because now they're able to move it right to New York. What took 5 weeks ended up taking, 3 or 4 days to get it moved over there. But what do you think that got me thinking of, Rob?
About one of 1,000 games. I have no idea.
Games that have trains,
Yeah.
games that have industrialization.
Well, which one has trains, industrialization, and
Oh, come on.
Canals.
Brass, Birmingham.
Yeah, Brass, or either Lancashire or Birmingham. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the, I was just reading that chapter, and they were talking about all that, and the details involved in going from the canals that they were moving to then adding rail lines, and how that changed everything, and it really got me digging, wanting to play some brass. Like, I'm so close to bringing it to us. We got a call coming in. Let's take a look.
And this is why he's got ADD.
Yeah.
Oh, it's strong ADD. Beans and Ice Podcast. State your name. Where you calling from?
Hey, Carlos, this is Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
How's it going? Hey, Rob. Hey, William. How are
Hey,
you?
what's going on?
Hey.
Well, today's topics are Command and Colors games, any game in the Command and Colors series, or you can, there we go, Wayne Kruger knew the answer, brass.
Aye.
Or you can talk about what Mitchell just talked about, where he gave us the reasons why Everdale is not as awesome as it should be. Or you can throw in your own topic, Nick. It's up to you.
Well, you know my topic. My topic is the same topic as it was last week and the month before that and the year before that. Have you heard it's Kickstarter season?
What season is it?
Kickstarter's everywhere. Yep.
We're still in Kickstarter season. Can you believe it? Yeah. No, actually, I'm a big fan of the Command and Colors stuff that I played, but my exposure has been very limited. Although I do have a signed copy of Cowtown by Richard Borg. Does that count at all?
Cowtown? What is that?
I don't know if you're familiar with Cowtown.
Yeah, I'll pull it up
bring
here.
It up. Bring it up on the screen. Bring it up. It's a Richard Borg game.
Yeah.
Is it one of those ones that he's like kind of embarrassed of?
There are some.
There are some, and he's admitted. So he's like, "Oh yeah, I made that. Yeah, just forget about it. Just walk away."
Yeah, no, it was actually, so at the back when we used to go to conventions, the Dice Tower East Convention, and then there's the big what's the
Is that a child's game?
It does not look like a Richard Borg game.
Oh yeah, total kids game. And actually, it's kind of funny. My kids now even consider it a kid.
All right,
like
my
6-year-old daughter. My 6-year-old daughter's like, nah, that's okay.
You
Like,
gotta buy it.
But no, I'm good.
When we all get together for Escape WinterCon and Richard's there, you gotta let him know that.
No. You
person.
gotta buy
Yeah,
it, and then
yeah.
when he signs it, make him draw a cow picture.
Richard has signed
No,
every
and-
game I
and it's
own designed by him. He has signed every single one.
Oh, that's so cool. It's good. Yeah, I mean, he did. So it was at the what's the little like flea market they have there? It's like where everyone gets to sell their own stuff or whatever.
Virtual
So
flea market.
But I mean, then it's like the one that everyone gets in line for. I guess it's you can, like sign up ahead of time, but then you actually are physically.
I think
selling
it's just
it,
a
so
flea
whatever.
market, and then they have a virtual one.
Yeah. So the flea market, he was hanging out there, and I don't know. I was chatting with him, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I got the kids, but I didn't bring them this year. But they like playing the games, and I'm going to pick up Memoir 44." And he like just reached behind him. And he had like a stack of Cowtown sitting there, like 10 of them.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Here." He was like, "Here." He was like, "Here, take this." And I remember that he like signed
That means
stuff.
he doesn't like it.
correct, 100%. And so, but I remember that he signed it in, and I'm like, oh, can you like sign it to my kids then? And I was like, yes, make it out to the L team. All my kids, their name starts with L because we're geeks. So yeah, I have a signed copy of Cowtown. That's
Hang on to it.
How's that an
Could be worth a lot.
commanding?
I'm sure. I'm sure a lot.
No, yeah. But the Kickstarter season, I received, as many people did today. It's all over the interwebs. Zombicide Second Edition from Kaman, as well as Demio, which we got to play the prototype copy of. And I'll admit to actually being equally as excited, if not more so excited for that one. And actually, the notification kind of came out of nowhere. It was like I got the email from Quartermaster Logistics like yesterday, like, oh yeah, we're sending your game, and I'm like, I hadn't really expected that. Sometimes I don't pay attention to the shipping notices because the last year has been crazy, and it's just like, the games will get here when they get here. But yeah, my wife definitely, bless her, definitely sent a picture today of the stack of mail that was for me. And it was the Zombicide Second Edition presidential level pledge for the box itself is, 1.5 feet, 2 feet tall. And then the Daimyo all-in pledge as well, which is almost as large, stacked on top of each other. And she's like, so, you got some packages.
Yeah,
We got some explaining to do.
A few things delivered today.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
But it's good stuff. This, of course, does come on the heels of last week's topic of the all-in Marvel United delivery as well, which was a box just as big.
Yeah. And then some Tiny Epic Pirates that came in recently, and
Yeah, Tiny Epic Pirates came in.
That at least was a smaller box. That was a smaller box. That was one where it was like, I didn't know what it was. Right? I think Rob, you even been there. It was like, it was a small box. Yeah, but it was like, it looked like an Amazon package. It was
Guy's
tiny,
a beast.
of course. Yeah.
You got to let me
Did you get your
know
copy?
if there's any major changes to the Daimyo rules in the final production copy.
yeah, because we played the pre-production version of it. Yep.
And we're still getting comments about things we did wrong.
Oh well, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, but that was an older video. I mean, it
was one of my first.
Yeah. I mean, what do you expect?
What about Zombicide? Did you get into it? Did you start cracking it?
I did not even start cracking it yet. He was sitting on the floor in my game room waiting to open, and yes, that'll be tomorrow's activity.
William brought his set of Zombicide over that he just received.
Yeah, I actually got mine.
Oh, cool.
I actually got mine.
Is that where that picture came from?
BGG.
Is that our picture on BGG?
I'm just flipping through the images of Daimyo here on the BGG website,
and that's us.
There's a picture of us playing it at over at Your Turn Board Game Cafe. So I just had to stop everybody and point it out there. That's pretty cool.
We're big time now.
Nick, you said Nick got his today?
Yeah, you got yours a few days ago.
I got mine like beginning of the week.
Oh, yeah, special treatment.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know it was going to come in either.
and-
I literally just got the email and I came home and was like, there's a giant box that says Zombicide on it.
Sweet. So as much as Carlos poo-poos the Kickstarter, I mean, it is nice when those things start arriving and just show up at your house. A nice little surprise. Yeah,
But not as much as he's got. That's a lot of explaining to do.
yeah, it's a lot of boxes. Yeah.
I could not explain that away. I don't know how Joyce even just like so chill with that. Your wife Joyce.
Yeah. I mean, she's just a chill lady. She's great, and it's fine. And it's just an excuse to get more shelves, which she's always in favor of, because then she claims some of that space for books and stuff. So
Cool. Works out.
Trade off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is. It's I mean, we're having a ton of fun with the kids. So she acknowledges it as a family activity, which definitely helps.
Yeah.
See, I'm not into much as the Kickstarter stuff. I got like 5 total, and they're all 4 of them will come this year. Well, two would come in next month.
Wow, you only got the first one that came in.
Yeah, and Zombicide was the last one I did actually, but I got like 6 P500 orders. So
The original, the Kickstarter before Kickstarter with Kickstarter is the P500.
Is the P500, yeah. So,
William, did you do the Western Zombicide campaign that just finished up?
The Western version?
no.
Oh, yeah, the
no,
new one.
Dead or Alive or Dead something, Dead or
Undead or Alive?
Undead or Alive, yeah.
Undead or
Undead or
Alive.
Alive.
No, I didn't because I wanted Zombicide, but I wasn't that involved into it. But I wanted to get into it, so I was like, now is a good time to jump into the 2.0 with everything.
Yeah.
Dip your toe in the water.
I was like, let me just jump right in. I pretty much got the same thing, the presidential level. I just didn't get the one with the RPG book and RPG rules, and then I didn't get the one expansion, the Fort Hendricks, but I got the Washington ZD, and that was it. And then I got mostly I will focus on getting some of the extra stuff. That was it.
Yeah. I need to open the box and actually remember what I got. I remember I got one of the highest, if not the highest, like individual pledge level. I try to be careful with command campaigns and the add-ons because it's like, holy monkey, the
It's a
price
trap.
can start jumping real quick. Yeah, it's crazy. So I consciously.
There is three big. Yeah, you saw the picture. There's three big boxes.
Yeah, but then it's all the little options that you can add to it.
Right.
That's where it starts to really eat up the
Well,
dollars.
you know, they do something like, oh, you want the 3D model cars? I'm like, no, because I have a 3D printer. I'm just gonna make the cars if I wanted that
There
way.
you go.
You know, I mean, no. But I mean, it looks pretty to have it. You know, resin car.
I'm trying to convince William to sell me his core box upgrade.
Yeah, I got
Because
that.
apparently he bought the upgrade, but he doesn't have a core box of version 1.
Right, but it allows you, if you decide to buy the first edition companion sets, to upgrade into 2.0.
Yep, we'll figure it out. Nick, did you buy one by any chance? One of the upgrade box, the upgrade sets? Got a
I
little
did not.
extra upgrade set laying around there?
No, yeah, I did not. And actually, it's funny because I only have ever played the first edition one time, and it was years ago. And I remember not even liking it that much.
Yeah.
Actually.
That's kind of when I stopped playing it because it was just too fiddly. There was too much going on there. So playing last week, was it last week, Robert? We played the Zombie Side Night of the Living Dead?
Yep.
I'm sorry, let me say that again. Night of the Living Dead, a Zombie Side game.
There you go. Yep.
We played that one last week, and I fell in love with it. Like, William came over the night after. We played another, 2 or 3 scenarios, you, me, and Max. William, myself, and Max.
Yeah. I mean, if the rules are the same, that's great. But I'm hoping with Zombicide, it was way too easy.
I think the scenario's easy
The scenarios are way
in Night of the Living Dead, but the rules, I think, are just right.
The rules are right. That's
Yeah,
correct.
it's
But
streamlined,
most of
yeah.
those rules were implemented in a rules change in the first edition of Zombicide. You know, they published
Yeah, they did like a printing thing you can
Yeah.
do. I just don't like that.
So, and then of course, you can just always house rule it.
I'm not a house rule person. That needs to be a topic for a show.
Yeah.
I don't do house rules.
No, he just does
How's
bad
your
rules.
how's your sevens rule sheet printouts going?
They just, speaking of sevens, they just published the Death Zone book. GW will now have an official sevens version published by GW. So make sure you
go.
contact your local
I saw the
retailer,
picture.
aka Armada Games, and let them know that you want a copy of the Death Zone book. You're going to have not only does it include the rules for Death of sevens, but it has a growth. What do they call it? A leveling up, so you can gain skills. So like a skill tree system within sevens now.
Very cool. I just sat down the other day, 2 nights ago, and went back to put paint on the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th player in my Wood Elf team that I never painted because I was just I was just flying to get paint on 7 of them for the 7th tournament we did. So I had the other 5 minis from that box never touched paint.
And this is where Rob zones out
I
here.
zone out, yeah.
Blood Bowl.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah.
Well, Nick, thank you for your call. I appreciate the update.
Yeah, thanks for calling,
Talked about Cowtown, how amazing it was. We talked about Daimyo, how it's back. And we talked about some zombie side. So thank you for that awesome bit of content for the folks. Appreciate it.
Rock and roll, man.
I'll see you
Awesome. Have a good night.
Saturday at the game day.
I am going to at least stop in.
Try.
Hopefully, I did have a.
Oh, that's right. You got changes. All right, we'll
Family
figure it
stuff
out.
came up. Yep.
We'll do our
yeah.
tiny epic day
Oh, yeah,
on
you
another
did.
day.
Yeah, well, I was say Rob did bring you your.
I did.
Pirates, right?
Yep. He's got it.
And that'll be a topic
Yeah.
if
I
we
do-
run out of calls.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. No, I think the odds of me being able to swing up there are decent, and if we can kind of sit down and play, we might even have time to knock out that game. I hate to miss it. It's been on the calendar ever since we
Yeah.
pledged it a year
Keep
ago.
me posted on what your time frame looks like so I can make sure I leave that slot open. Take care, man.
Awesome. Yeah, man.
Thanks,
Good
Nick.
night.
See you.
All right. Phone lines are open again. We're going to put up the phone number 813-618-7099. Our hot topic for today, Command and Colors. Specifically, let me get it right. Look at the look he's giving me, folks. You see that? He's giving me the dead eye.
Let
me get this
what
right.
you were going to say.
Samurai
He thought about it.
battles.
Wow, he had to think it. Oh,
Samurai. Well, there's so many of
oh,
them.
I just saw the hamster just blow up in your brain. Hamster.
Hamster blood everywhere.
That hamster's been dead for so long.
Yeah.
The hamster that runs my brain, he's been dead for a while. All right, so Command and Colors battle. Samurai battles.
I got it up on the BGG. If you want to do that,
There we go.
People can see
On
it
the
for
BGG.
themselves.
They can read it
don't
for
have to
themselves.
read it for themselves.
So this is a reimplementation of what was for me a Grail game for a long time.
Yes.
Because it was produced by Zevd, a Russian production company, and they did a combined box set of Samurai Battles and then Art
Art of Tactics.
Russian is not my first language. So they did this combined set, and it was all miniatures. They did a beautiful production. They're a miniatures company. They tend to do like tanks and things for war games, and they produced a whole line of samurai miniatures for this samurai game. They used Richard Borg's rule set, and then used the Art of Tactical rule sets
Yes.
to combine it into one. But they really just hamstrung him when it came to the number of scenarios, as well as the quality of the rule set. Because I remember William and I, when we first played it, we struggled to get through that rule book
Right.
and the way it was written.
I think there was a language barrier, and Mr. Borg actually said it too. He said there was.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, he translated it from himself in English, sent it to to Russia, probably in Russian, then they reproduced it in English. I don't know. It didn't work out. It was a beautiful game. It was still one of my top Command and Colors games. Once, because we actually had to play it in front of Mr. Borg at Dice Tower, and he had to come over many times to help clarify things for us. But once we got it going again, we realized how good of a game set it was. But it was disappointing to know that it was limited in the type of units available, also limited in the number of scenarios available. 8 scenarios is all it came with.
Yeah, it was.
That's just unheard of for a Command & Colors game. So this is a reproduction done by, this time, GMT Games. And if you do anything with wargaming, GMT is the man. Like they are
The company.
they are for when it comes to war games. And this one does not fail to deliver. I mean, the card quality.
I will say I enjoy this a lot better.
Yeah, the mounted board is gorgeous. The board that came in Zevda's version was little tiles that you put together, like tile boards put together. Yeah. This is a nice, solid mounted board. It's a different size than what you get with like a Command & Colors game. Most Command & Color games are 13 hexes by 9 hexes. This one is 11 by 12, a little more of a square than it is a rectangle. It is still divided in sectors, left, right, and center. You're going to draw cards as your hand for your command cards. That's going to limit what units you can order, as well as what sectors you can order those units in. You're going to act as a commander. You're going to have these, what they call dragon cards, that you can use to amplify the things that you do or negate the things your opponent do. But everything has a cost, right? So you've got these honor tokens, honor and fortune tokens, they call them. For short, I call them honor tokens. You have these honor tokens that you start with a certain amount. You can gain some at the end of the round. You can make decisions in order to get more honor tokens, but you're going to have to spend those tokens in order to pay for the dragon cards that you want to use. You're also going to spend those tokens in order to inspire the units that you're ordering to attack with more dice, right? So you're spending tokens for that. But don't run out of tokens, because when you run out of tokens, you're going to get to a place where if you have to retreat, each space you retreat back is going to cost you honor tokens. Because in this feudal samurai civil war that's going on, any leader that retreats is just, you lose honor, right? You're dishonorable. And if you ever run out of honor tokens, cannot spend the required honor tokens doing a retreat, you begin to have to roll dice for a test. It's going to kill units in the unit that's retreating, and it's going to kill units around the units that's retreating. Now, William and I, the way we see that, fluff-wise, is not that they're dying, right? Because I retreated, they didn't die.
They're running away. They're running off the field.
They're running off the field, or they're switching sides, which was a big part of the feudal wars in Japan. If someone lost faith in their leader, right, that their leader was not honorable or was not going to be the winner, sides were swapped like baseball cards. Like, people were trading sides like baseball cards. So you're losing units. You're pushing forward in one sector while your opponent may be strong in a different sector is pushing forward. So you have to decide how to do what you want to do with the limitations of the cards in your hand. And it's still there. I think officially Samurai Battles is still at the top of my list as the best Command and Colors game.
Yeah, I enjoy it quite a
Dog
bit.
agrees.
Yeah,
Dog agrees.
I enjoyed it a lot, as well as all the other ones as well. But it's got a little bit of flair from Red Alert. The whole.
Well, you're saying it backwards though. I don't mean to interrupt you, Will. I am going to interrupt. Red Alert came after Battle Lore.
Right.
Samurai Battles.
Samurai Battles, yeah.
But no one knew about it because the way this thing was translated was.
And so few copies were out there.
It was horrible. So I literally, when the rules came out for it, I was like, this must be new rules, because when Red Alert came out, but then Richard Borg said, no, I actually took some from that, took some from this, took some from that. It's like, really? But we couldn't tell because it was written like English was not definitely the first language.
You couldn't get a copy of it. I finally found a copy of it, which got us to play it. There were so few copies of it out there that people couldn't enjoy what this game was.
Yeah.
To really see why it is a shining star within that series.
Yep.
What are your thoughts, William, on Samurai Battles?
Well, I mean, obviously we played with your copy and I have my own copy, so I'm hoping that they do an Overlord thing.
So I agree with you, right? But I look at the board, and they just didn't set it up for that.
And
Possible.
let me step in real quick. So Overlord, so just for those who don't know, so they can follow along, Overlord is, normally this is a head-to-head two-player game. Overlord makes it, I guess, ideally a 4-on-4 game.
Yes.
Where you have 3 players on each side playing the general? No, not generals.
Generals.
Okay,
Because
playing
there's a
generals.
supreme commander.
Okay, there you go. Each controlling either just the left, the right, or the center of the board, and then you have one overlord on each side. I don't know what you in the context of commander. Okay, in samurai culture, but you'd have one overseer who then is taking the action cards and divvying them up and giving them to the players. So that's a very basic overview of that. But just for those who didn't know, so that's what they're talking about.
I didn't turn on the above view camera, so I can't show it, but the board, the mounted board, does not stretch to the ends of the board.
It doesn't. Yeah, you're right.
Right. So like in all the other Command and Colors games, the boards, you can put them side by side. So you put 2 boards side by side, and it creates the Overlord setup. So I feel like they didn't either A, plan well, because they would have made a board the right size, or B, they're not expecting that scale of battle. Now, William, you're the historian here. Did they have such large, epic scale battles in feudal Japan?
No. I mean, they had big battles, but not like you would have in ancient battles where you had 30,000 versus 40. They had something like that, but not the amount of samurai. Samurai, as time went on, as they kept dying, there was less and less and less and less and less, and there was mostly peasant infantry.
Just like the Tom Cruise movie. That's where I get my history from.
Because that's completely accurate. Sure.
Sure.
I'm such a simple person.
But they did still have some big battles, but it was mostly skirmishes, actually, to be honest with you. There's a few choice battles like Sekigahara. That's a huge battle that took a whole week, but they had a lot of skirmishes, actually, with small amount of armies.
What are your thoughts on the differences in because you and I played the original version together, the original version's 8 scenarios versus how many come in this setup?
So there's 40 that come in. Those 30 or 40?
It's like 32, 38.
Yeah,
it's up there.
It's up there. The board can't support the nice plastic pieces. I'm playing with little blocks that symbolize armies, but after playing this, I don't care. I don't care for the old version.
You don't need the miniatures, is what you're saying.
The miniatures, no. The way the rules are in here, the card quality, the way it looks, the way it feels. Yeah, no.
William's right. It's 40 scenarios.
40, yeah.
And this is what's cool, Rob. Check this out. The scenario book is thicker than the rule book.
That's cool.
Like they finally got to publish the game the way they wanted it. Huge amount of scenarios.
Think about it. It takes almost 90 minutes per scenario.
Yeah, and I'm not as up on the Command and Colors as these two guys, although I have played, I think,
We played a lot of Memoir together.
We played a lot of Memoir. I've played 4 or 5 different ones. I've played Red Alert. I've played Ancients. So I've played, I haven't played
Samurai
all of them. Samurai Now.
Memoir 44, that's World War II.
Yeah, he made you play this one.
This one, yeah, this
Battle
one,
Lore.
It's not my first choice.
That puts you
Battle Lore?
Yeah, he's played Battle Lore.
I played Battle Lore. Oh, yeah, we played a bunch of Battle
So
Lore,
he has
too.
played a lot of them.
But this one is a little on the heavier side for the Command and Colors. This is not a Memoir or a Battle Lore.
I
This one,
think anything after Memoir is going to be heavy on the heavier side.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say Memoir is the second lightest of the series.
Probably, yeah.
The series, the series opener, the inaugural game was Battle Cry, which is the Civil War version.
Yep.
It is so light, I find it at this stage dang near unplayable.
I've heard that before. I heard that before.
I taught it to my then 12-year-old, and I was like, I'm not having fun. I have no decisions here. There's no battle back. There's no advancing. It's just no decisions were being made. You're just moving pieces, rolling dice to see what resolves. I'm really just like, come on, Richard, do it. Re-update Battle Lore or Battle Cry with the updated rule systems. Give me decisions like charges, battle backs, bonus battles.
Yeah.
5?
So far,
What?
Battle Lore.
I keep saying
Battle Lore.
I keep saying Battle. Battle Lore's up there. That one's probably in the top 3 for me of Command and Colors games.
Yeah, we played a fair amount of that. That was when I was early in my gaming career. You introduced me to that one fairly early, and we played a fair amount of that. So yeah,
that was the FFG version.
Yep.
This is when they allowed you to build your own armies. So you actually, unlike most of the historical games where you're told, here's the setup, here are the forces you're bringing with you, here's the goal.
Since that one's in a fantasy world, yeah.
In the fantasy one, you set up your own armies, and then you hidden set them up, which Red Alert does well.
That's cool.
One of William's favorite.
I like that.
You set up the board hidden, so you don't know where the units are going to be, and then you reveal, here's my objectives, here's my setup, here's my terrain, and here are my units. Let's go to war. Yep. And I think, William, was it at the first Command and Colors game you played? Didn't I teach you that one at Dice Tower?
Yes, it was Battle Lore. Yes.
Battle Lore? Yeah, let's get the right one now. Battle Lore, yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, that was the first one, though. And then we did get that good opportunity to play with Mr. Richard Borg, and he created that big Overlord
epic
that
one.
medieval one.
Yeah,
that was
we played. That was
Rob's
fun. That was an epic fail on the dice. Yep. Even Mr. Borg was said that was probably some of the worst dice rolling he had ever seen.
No, I don't think he said probably.
I think he did say it was the worst dice rolling he had ever seen.
How many dice he rolled? And how many times?
I think I rolled 16 at one point without a hit. So it was, and I think 2 of the sides were hits, and I rolled 16 die and did not hit a single time. So that's epic. Yeah.
But what I loved about it was how he said, because I was the Supreme Commander.
Yes, yeah. I was just a little general.
Supreme Commander. Robert was my general on my right flank.
Right flank, yeah.
He was my right flank general, and I set him up with a series of cards. And Mr. Borg said that
I remember
the way I set that up.
And the way I set it up too. Yeah, exactly. He said it was perfect strategy. I put all the right things in all the right places, and then just rolled blank.
Except we put the dice in Rob's hand.
Yeah, exactly. Blank after blank after blank. And since then, I do not enjoy these games.
It was bad.
To the point where the year following, at the following Dice Tower, when we saw Mr. Borg and went up there and said hi, he remembered instantly.
You're that guy. Good stuff. Yeah.
But that's what games are all about. Those memories that just, we'll never forget that story of.
Yeah.
But what was cool about that too was to find out afterwards that what he was doing there, what we thought
he was testing something.
Yes, it was we thought he was just setting up a funsies scenario for us using Medieval Knights, but that was his play testing of the game that I picked up the following year, which was the medieval version. 2 years later, the medieval version.
Yep.
Command and Colors Medieval.
He was playing with some different concepts, some different ideas. He was actually making stuff up on the fly when we were playing. We were like, well, how does this work? And he's like, oh, well, let's just say this for now and see how it plays out. So, yeah.
So it's cool to feel a part of that.
Yeah, we were there.
To have been said, we participated in some of the playtesting of Command and Colors Medieval.
Yep. Good times.
I think, honestly, the game wasn't so geared to being historic. He would have added like a card mentioning something like what just happened that day.
Oh yeah, throw a little epic fail in there.
Because Red Alert's got that. Red Alert's got those funny cards in there. Yeah, that's got depictions of pop culture in there.
Yeah.
So if that wasn't a historical copy, like it was just a regular Command and Color game, I am sure he would have added something in there.
Something fun.
Can you imagine a card, like play this card, right? Spend this much leadership points, play
Get
this
16
card.
dice.
It's called Sir Robert.
Sir
Turn
Robert.
your opponent's dice to ones.
Yeah. Or reroll up to 16 dice. So, yeah.
Yeah, he still remembers no matter what game you play with him.
Yeah.
He remembers everyone that was around. That was associated
I
with you.
remember. Yeah, we were playing the Overlord, and so it was 5-on-5 essentially. And yeah, I was at one point as it was getting ridiculous. The people that were fighting in the other zones stopped what they were doing to watch me roll dice, so just so they could see how bad it was. So yeah, good times. Yeah.
We lost that one really bad.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, we got creamed in that one.
What it says to me is that Commands and Colors is a series of games. If you haven't had the opportunity to play, find a friend that has it.
Sure.
We've built so many memories around all these games. I remember the late nights with Rob playing Memoir online.
Oh, yeah.
We
Oh,
went
yeah.
through a line.
Yeah, I remember that.
I've got the Memoir campaign book that we've played some of that.
Yep.
It's easy to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
There's just enough for me. It's just enough dice rolls and randomness to make it so that someone who might be more tactically or strategically superior than I,
Yeah.
that I still have a chance to win.
You might learn a little history on the way. Yeah.
Yes.
That means you got someone who likes history, they will like it. And the game is, for the most part, balanced. I mean, he was in the lead in this game that we played, and I was behind. And then, like, in one turn, I tied everything up.
Yeah.
And then the next two, it took you 2 more turns, and then you won
To finish it off.
to finish it off. But it was still it didn't look like it was close. Like, I'm going to get beaten up here. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
yes, his dice rolls are actually good this time.
Yeah,
They weren't bad. Yeah, they weren't bad.
They weren't bad. He was getting some good hits on there.
Yeah.
But
Except for the 5 we took away from me.
There was a
yeah.
moment when Rob rolled 5 dice and got all hits, but we come to find out he was on a hill running downhill.
That was a
so
rule
he was
mistake.
only allowed to roll 4 dice for that. So
Yeah.
we made him re-roll it all, and he just whiffed.
All blanks. So,
So
figures.
the one time he rolled well, we took it away from him.
Of course.
But that was our experience, our quick experience. Now, William and I will be doing a play video of it, just like we did for Battlelore, just like we did for
the original Samurai Battle.
Sekigahara. We did a video for
Yes.
Sekigahara. So we're going to do a playthrough of Samurai Battles, and we will also do our thoughts, right? So we'll give you our quick thoughts and our deep dive conversation
Well, why
on
don't
it.
you ask if they want to? Because inside that campaign book, there's 4 scenarios for just Sekigahara, and they're back to back to back.
Oh, cool.
That might be a good place for us to start. Just go
It's
right
like-
to the
it's like-
Sekigahara
it's like right in the
scenarios.
middle, to where you get all the nicer units. You know, the one that we played was the trial version. You know, everyone's got mirrored armories. So, but yeah, there's 4 battles that span that week in there. So
Cool.
maybe that'd be a good one to do it. Since everyone loved the Sekigahara stuff.
I agree. And if you have any comments on it, post it up on the board. Let us know what you think. How much more of the Command and Colors should we play? What's your favorite Command and Colors? Are you familiar with Richard Borg? And if not, will you be at Escape WinterCon where I can teach you? Because I know I'll be there. Robert will be there.
I'll plan to be there. Yep.
Or maybe, ask him which one do you want us to You have every single one.
I'm missing the World War One,
Oh, well. Okay.
and I'm missing. There's one more. I can't remember what it is right
That's
now.
one out of a large selection.
Yeah, I'm a Richard Borg fanboy. All right, so let's run through because we're right at the end
Yeah, we
here.
got about 5 minutes left. Yeah.
5 minutes left. We'll do a real quick run through of what's been going on. But Tiny Epic Pirates came in, so I got my Tiny Epic Pirates in. I plan on trying to play it this weekend at our game day. That's another bit of news. Game day for the community. So all you Tampa folks, if you're in the Tampa area, we're going to be at the Your Turn Gaming Cafe, Zephyr Hills, Florida, this weekend.
Yep.
I think they open around 11 o'clock.
Saturday they open at 11. I'm planning to get there sometime between 11 and noon. I think we advertised pretty much that we do our game day from noon until close, which is I believe midnight. So yeah.
Yep, I want to get there early because they have a great breakfast
Yeah.
and great coffee. So we're going to be there for our big game day.
Yep.
What else is in the news? I think that was Red Alert. I fulfilled my dream of getting a copy of Red Alert. I found somebody on BGG that sold it for $80, including like all the Kickstarter exclusive stuff. So now I'm dang near completing my collection of Richard Borg games.
Cool.
So Rob, what you got?
Just real quick, I have no new acquisitions. I don't think I've purchased anything or gotten any new games in the last week, but I did meet up with some guys from our game group here in Tampa at Your Turn. We met up this week and we played, looks like 4 games. I got it pulled up here on my BGG, recently played, and I learned 2 new games. We played Estonia, a game that was just a brand new Kickstarter that came out. Michael Lorenzo got that game about 2 or 3 weeks ago on the Kickstarter, and it is a solid deck builder. It was a fun game, some great art in it. There's nothing, I don't think, in the game that I hadn't seen in deck builders before or in card games before, because actually there was one mechanic that they actually took from Keyforge, which was really cool. It's in Keyforge, it's called the vault. You can put cards in a vault, and then you can pull them back out. You can start amassing them, and then at any point at the beginning of your turn, you can pull them out. In this game, it was the seal. You could seal them. The idea of kind of being in an envelope, and then at any point you could break the seal on the envelope at the beginning of your turn and take those into your hand, and it would give you more options, more cards to play for that turn. But a real fun game. It's brand new. It's got a good rating on the BGG. It's early. It doesn't have a whole lot of ratings yet, but I think it's around an 8.2, 8.3 on the BGG. But yeah, real solid, fun deck builder. We played a 2-player game of that, and then we played a 3-player game of that, and each one lasted less than an hour. So
How do you pronounce that?
Estonia. It's Ausonia. But a real fun game. If you get a chance to check that one out, I would definitely recommend it. The art in it is awesome. We also played, and I played for the first time, Parks, a game that's been out there for quite a while, and that was a real fun game too. We played that 3-player. I think we played it in probably about an hour. A good family weight, a little heavy family weight, but a family weight. Maybe I'd say medium family weight game, but just a fun. There's a track that you play down several times. You add tiles to it as you go through the different seasons, but you're going through. It's a resource collecting, resource management. You're cashing in resources to purchase parks that represent national parks that you are visiting. And so a real fun game, real light, pretty light rules, pretty quick playing. And there was enough strategy there where at the end of the game, we were putting a little thought into it and probably drug it out a little bit longer than it should have been. But a real fun game. And I know there's, I think there's an expansion or another game in the series that's coming out. But it's been real highly rated, and a lot of people like it, so I was glad to finally play that one. And then I played 2 games that I had played before. We did play a game of Dune Imperium, my newest acquisition, which I picked up a couple of weeks ago, and we played a 4-player game of Dune Imperium, and as has been my experience, the now 3.5 times I've played it with different people, pretty much a different group every time I've played it, and every time I've played it, everybody has liked it. So, and some people have liked it a lot, including myself. So definitely a game. I mean, it's been hot in the news lately.
You played it more than I, because I started with the first time we played it together.
Yep.
But Arnak Dune.
Yeah, 2 definitely different games. I mean, they have some similarities. Arnak is definitely more of a family weight, again, a medium to maybe heavy on the family side, but a little bit on the lighter side for a gamer, for a hobby gamer, a deeper gamer. Dune takes it one step further. The mechanics are a little more complicated, and the thing about Dune, and this is the same thing everybody who's played the 2 I've heard say, that the addition of the combat at the end of every round in Dune is just a constant thing, that it ups the player interaction, which is way different than Arnak. Arnak, 95% of that game you're doing your own thing, other than the worker placement of just blocking where other people want to go, but most of the time you're going where you want to go. So there's not a whole lot of blocking even in Arnak, but Dune, it's tighter. There's fewer spaces. The resources are tighter. It's bigger decisions, meatier decisions. And as every time I've played it, the response that around the table has been, as we're playing, I needed one more resource to be able to do exactly what I wanted to do. So the resource management is really important. But that combat every round ups the player interaction, and it's constantly there. You're constantly having to think, are the rewards for the combat this round good enough? Because they change every round what the rewards are. Do I want to go in this round and get one of those rewards, or do I want to hold back, keep my guys, because everybody who goes to combat dies at the end of every round? Do I want to keep them garrisoned, and then maybe next time there'll be a better reward, and I'll be set to go for that one? So some really cool decisions in Dune, and I'm loving every play of that one so far. So, and that's at the top of my list to play again. So. And then the other one, very light game that I played, I got a couple games in. I'd played it once or twice before. Is Fantasy Realms. Michael Lorenzo had brought his copy of Fantasy Realms. A real quick, fairly light, I'd say pretty light, little card deck management game. You're just drawing cards, taking turns back and forth. It was just two of us going back and forth. Every one of the cards has keywords on it that trigger with other cards, and it might be, I drill a wizard staff, and it's going to give me at the end of the game 10 points for every wizard I have in my hand. Or I might draw the thunder card, and if I pair it up with a storm card, it gives me 20 points at the end of the game if I have both of those. Each card has its own value of points, and then each one has some keywords on it, and you're trying to get other cards and match up keywords. Some of the keywords are negative, so if I have the navigation, the boat card, I forget what it's called, there's a card with a boat on it, and if you don't have a flood card at the end of the game, it's minus, I think, 30 or 40 points. It's a huge minus, so you got to make sure you're drawing these cards, but you're drawing them from a discard area, and then the game ends once 10 you discard in a kind of a tableau in the middle of the board, and once 10 cards are discarded face up, and you can pull from those at the beginning of your turn. You can draw a blind off the top or take one that somebody else has put down. But once 10 are face up, the game ends immediately, and then you score. And one of the really cool things about it is Mike had found an app online where you go through and just real quick, you touch the 10 cards, because you always end up, 7 cards. The 7 cards you ended up with the game, and it does all the scoring for you. So it'll automatically score all those keywords. It'll figure out what the best way to use your cards
Based on what cards you had, it'll do all the interactions to figure out what your score was.
It's got all of the 70 or 80 cards in the database, and you just say, player 1, I had this, and this, and the other player 2, this, and this, and then it'll tell you what your score was. So that was really cool. But, yeah, good times. But yeah, that was it. So that's all I've really played in the last week.
That was a good list.
Yeah, but you will.
Well, I've been out of the scene for a while, so
Yeah. William, I'm sorry. I got to William.
I give up. I'm dealing with the guy over here who keeps forgetting stuff. It's fine.
You're getting old.
So I played the Night of Living Dead, a zombicide game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you and Robert didn't get to play together. What were your thoughts?
Like I said, it was easy, really, really easy. And we had the movie on the background because we had Max. He never even seen or heard of the movie before, and we were just kind of like, "What? You don't know what this is? It's a classic. It's not a classic that's been good with times, but it's a classic." So it kind of kept the story a little bit. Like it made me feel like, yeah, this is the weapons matched, things of that nature. But it's still a zombicide game, so they had to make it enjoyable.
How many scenarios of that did y'all play?
Like 4.
Oh, wow. So you got the first 4.
But what we did do, Robert,
we found out that you two were playing wrong.
Okay, so
really?
So what we did is, if you wanted to zombie-side your character, right? Because in the scenarios, whenever you take an action that gives the Winchester to another player, you gain their trust, which allows you to go from Romero mode to zombie-side mode.
Zombicide mode, yeah.
In the game, zombie-side mode just gives you more options. The way I interpreted it when we played the second time with William and Max is that, you know what? You need to spend the action to physically give the Winchester to someone, not have someone come to you and take it. So it slowed us down.
I think sometimes we definitely did it that way, but I think we did it both ways. So when you give or took. But I remember we looked that up when we played it, but you found something different that said it was only when you give.
When we looked it up together, we found nothing. Okay. When I looked it up the second time, we found nothing. So what I realized is playing with you, it felt so easy that, you know what, let's just add that extra limitation.
Okay.
And it took us a lot. There were games that we ended scenarios where people hadn't leveled into zombicide mode. It just wasn't able to happen because we weren't able to coordinate getting the gun around enough so that everybody, but then we figured out how to do it. And by that time we'd all start in the same room and just start hot potatoing the gun.
Yeah.
My first action, gun. Second
I level up.
Action, yeah.
That's why I've seen people doing it online. Yep.
But I think
it slowed us down a little bit.
I read the rules. I said it looks like it says you actually got to give it.
Okay.
So when someone else is doing the rearranging, they take it. They're actually just taking it from you with your permission. But you actually got to spin the action.
That's what we decided to do. So it made it a little bit harder. We didn't lose.
No, we didn't lose.
There was one that was real close though. There was one scenario. I think we were like down to the last turn. Yeah, because it was. What was it? It was having the zombies breaking in would end it. Like one zombie inside the house would end the scenario. So having any zombie at the end of the player's turn would end the scenario. So, you took your action, Robert, and then I took my action, right? And then William goes to go, right? But during William's action, he searches and finds a relative.
Sure.
So now he's got a zombie in the room with him, but he's the only person left, and he's already spent one of his 3 actions. He's got 2 actions to kill this zombie. Right? It got real tight like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we were able to get just what we needed, thanks to extra shells, or was it extra?
Plenty of ammo.
Bullets,
Yeah.
extra shells.
Plenty of ammo, allowed rerolls, which got us to be able to kill the Karen. No offense to the Karens of the world.
Karen.
The daughter who turned into a zombie and tried to eat them. Her name was Karen.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, but that's pretty much the last thing I played since.
what about acquisitions?
Well, obviously I got the Zombicide Kickstarter, that big, whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Lots of boxes.
Lots of boxes. About 3 boxes for the pledge I got, and then the extras that I actually ordered. I think that pledge I got, which is the same that Nick's got, it's like 167 models.
So even if you don't like Zombicide, you've got models for anything you want zombie related.
Plastic to melt down and reform.
Right. I mean, the big seller was all the models that were being made by celebrities. I mean, that was a big thing. Every time the pledge level kept going up.
Oh, they added models that look like celebrities.
Yeah. Obviously, they're not going to call them what they really are, but everyone knows who they are.
Give us a report back on the rules once you read through the rules for Zombicide 2nd Edition, and let me know how it compares to our playthrough of A Night of the Living Dead, a Zombicide game.
Yep.
To see, did they I'm trying.
Yeah.
Did they simplify it real dumbed down like A Night of the Living Dead, or is there more to it? So let us know once you read it.
We'll find out if there's noise tokens in there. I'm gonna probably say no.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Find out for me. Let me know.
so
Well, folks, that puts us to the end of the show. We got that just past the 10 o'clock hour.
Yep.
We will do this again next week. Each Thursday, we're going to be here to take your calls. Hopefully, we get some more callers. Today seemed a little light, but the calls were still quality calls. Mitchell from Louisiana, Nick from Wesley Chapel. So I want to thank you two for calling in. We will see you next week. My name's Carlos.
I'm Rob.
and I'm William.
And we are the Beans and Dice Podcast, a podcast about how we game. Thanks for watching. We will catch you on the next one, folks. Have a good evening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.